said, no need. The person in front of you took care of it. Some kind of pay it forward thing, I guess. I immediately looked forward at, I think it was a black truck pulling out in front of us, too far ahead for us to think, and I was welling up and tears started rolling down my face. I knew exactly what this was taking place. Because of this random act of kindness, helped my family eat in peace that night. What the stranger ahead of me didn't know was that $20 that they had covered for our family to eat that night was helping my husband and I to not stress on the way home until our next paycheck, right? In case an emergency came up. Because at the time, what we were going through was bigger. My husband was fighting infection just after another surgery. We had wanted to just have a normal night without doctors and cords. We looked at both our accounts and pre-planned for a day trip to the beach. Okay, we don't live very far from the beach where we live. And so we just kind of were like, you know what? I was like, you know what? We need a moment. We need a family moment. We need time with God. We need to reconnect, and we need to go back. You know, we need to dip our feet in the water, and we just, everybody needs a moment. So we checked our accounts. We planned ahead. Everything was fine. Until a random bill had come out of our account, and it had a lot more than what we had planned. And all of a sudden, we were strapped. And to the point where we didn't know, if we were stressed, okay, to say the least. Because we were far enough from home, and, we live two and a half hours or so about from the coast, as we call it the coast. And we took this little break, and all of a sudden it turned into a stress. And of course, at that moment, we could have went and and screamed and hollered and yelled, cussed and all that, but we didn't. We looked at each other, and we're like, you know what, we kiddos are hungry. We had 3 kiddos in the back, and we're like, they're hungry. We knew everyone just needed to eat, or we could just be hangry all the way home. And of course, that's just, it's not good to be hangry. And so, we went and just said, well, it needs to be done, right? We're here now. So, we'll deal with it. And we're gonna trust in God to get us through this. And so that's what we're gonna do. So that night, even though the clerk didn't really get it, she didn't have to. Okay? I was thankful. My husband was thankful. Our kids were thankful, And I remember eating that meal with my husband and 3 of our kids and watching the sunset. And it was beautiful. It was beautiful. Not because I didn't have to pay for it. No. It was because it's going to make me cry all over again. It was because it was a beautiful gift of a random act of kindness. And the stress was gone. Right? So I knew once again that God had stepped in, using one of his many children to bless another. And in full transparency, in all honesty, I cried while I ate my meal that night. And I remember my husband just asking, are you okay? Are you going to be okay? And I was just like, I remember that. And I remember just telling him, well, yeah, of course. I love how God just kind of connects us all. And he uses these random acts of kindness to help connect everybody and to help give hope. And sometimes it's a very negative world, which by the way, reminds me of Luke chapter 6, verse 35. But love your enemies, do good to them, and lend to them without expecting to get anything back. Then your reward will be great, and you will be children of the Most High, because he is kind to the ungrateful and wicked. Jesus literally asking us to be kind to each other without expecting anything in return. And that is exactly what this person did. That is exactly what this person did in front of us. They didn't expect anything in return, and we were able to have that. And that I remember the stress relieving off my husband, the financial burden relieving off of him, and the rest of the evening just being smooth. And we ate, and I just remember we actually ate in a parking lot of a store, and we watched the sunset, and it was actually really beautiful, because it was actually like one of the best seats in the house, like, to be honest, where we were anyways. And so, and just without expecting anything in return, meaning hold a door open, right? Because you want to. Help grandma because you love her, not because you want something from her. Help grandpa because you want more time with him. Spend time with your spouse because they're the one that God has given you, and expect nothing in return. Time is such a valuable gift and so undervalued. Although I do understand the risk with all the negativity in the world and how random acts of kindness can be so misconstrued. And I understand that. To some, for other things, or ulterior motives, which reminds me of a video that I actually have coming up for y'all. However, don't let that stop who you are. If you are a person that does random acts of kindness, keep going, because God is using you. And don't let other people rain on that parade. Okay? Come back to this video and just keep watching it for your positivity bucket. Keep going. People will judge, okay? That has been going on for as long as the fall, since Adam and Eve, okay? However, if we keep up the momentum of the random acts of kindness to outweigh the negativity, then humans will stop expecting the worst in people and start treating them how they would like to be treated. Random acts of kindness can change someone's whole meal, day, night, or life, okay? It can be something that sticks with them throughout their whole life. So why would you want to keep that kind of goodness in? Why would you not want to spread it? Yes, some will reject it, but just think of that rejection as God's redirection to the ones that actually need the random acts of kindness. So please go and spread random acts of kindness, or maybe you have a story of a random act of kindness that really touched your heart. If so, leave it in the comments. I read them all. Oh, and if you haven't already, subscribe and hit the bell so you can have more encouraging content from Jam. See you next time, brothers and sisters.